So within data centers, we talked about Google and Facebook. I'd make the point that what's happening in both of those environments is they control both the applications running in the data center as well as the way to interconnect to those data center links. They've got an understanding dynamically of what they want to do, and you talk about what that customer requirement is. For them, they understand that shifting traffic makes a lot of sense. They can reprioritize different data center traffics, they can shift links, they can do all sorts of things. When we think about your average facility customer today, though, they haven't gotten to that level of sophistication. What do we have to do to make those transitions simpler, offer those capabilities? Are these new service offerings? What do we do to identify those to your average enterprise customer to be able to get them moving down that road? To your point, how do we move them beyond simply saying, oh, okay, bandwidth is a cool toy, and actually putting it to work?
Well, there's two challenges there. One is developing the product and find a way to actually represent it as something they want. And the easiest way to do that is to wrap it into a product they already understand. Basically enhance an existing feature or function or offering with new qualities and new strengths. The other challenge is going to be selling it, because we all know from cloud, et cetera, that you take telecom guys and they try and approach customers with products that are not within the scope of standard telecom. It's very hard for them to make the value proposition. So that's, again, on both the customer education side and the sales education side, it's going to be a big challenge to create a productized offering that appeals to customers, that sales reps can actually represent adequately and sell, that will actually generate more revenue rather than take it away from existing revenue streams.
I think most people in both the SDN and the NFV space are taking a step approach to adopting those technologies. I mean, if you think about SDN, there's a couple of distinct deployment models: a data center SDN and carrier SDN, or wide area network SDN. A lot of people, of course, are looking at data center SDN. You can even break that down a little bit further and say, in its basic form, data center SDN is the adoption of open flow switches. Obviously cheap commodity switches with that separate control and forwarding plane. And a lot of people are doing just simply that right now. Obviously, as data center SDN grows and evolves, then you start looking at the adoption of more complex implementations, for example, around the network functions virtualization infrastructure itself, the cloud infrastructure. On the wide area networking side of things, of course, again, it's a step function. People are starting off looking at just controlling wavelengths, GMPLS type wavelengths with SDN, just one layer. But of course, as carrier SDN evolves, obviously people are looking towards adopting multi-layer SDN, where the controller itself controls not only layer 1, but layers 1 through essentially layer 2.5. The MPLS path itself. So if you look at SDN and break it down into its key areas, you can say that's the sort of adoption path most people are looking to take, that step approach. And on the NFV side of things, people are doing the same things. They're taking the low-hanging fruit and virtualizing the obvious functions first. In terms of a network operator, they're looking at, for example, virtualizing the evolved packet core, EPC, and functions like the IP multimedia subsystem, functions that are having to grow with the adoption of, for example, VoLTE, voice over LTE. They're having to grow that infrastructure rapidly right now, so they're going to adopt NFV for those functions first.